All right, guys. If you've been following me for a while, especially when I first started this channel about a little bit over 5 months ago, I told you guys I was going to get several books that were out there to read through them and kind of do a book review. Now, this isn't really going to be a book review of this, but I did get this space review. So this was basically something that this Albert K. Bender, he basically in the 1950s basically created a newsletter that was about out for a little bit over a year. And what he did was he was doing a collection of all kinds of UFO reports around the world. And within a year or so, he actually got contacted by what we now know as the Men in Black. And I actually have his book too here. It's called The Flying Saucers and the Three Men. And it's by, of course, Albert K. Bender. And he talks about in this particular book, and I'm still kind of reading through this one, he talks about what actually transpired when he started doing this particular newsletter that he was actually publishing out, and how these three men came to him and actually what transpired. So I'm actually trying to read through this so I can give you guys kind of a thorough breakthrough of what transpired with him over that period of time when he started creating this newsletter. That this has got some cliplets from that in there, and then also what actually transpired during that whole time, because this is actually a pretty interesting read, especially when they first came to him. And this is kind of how the term Men in Black kind of came about. But in this space review, you guys, like I said, I'll do a more in-depth, I guess, review of this and talk about some of the articles and stuff in here. Over the period of, you see at the day at the top, 1952 to about 1953, he was doing a collection of all kinds of UFO reports around the world. I know this is kind of hard to read. I'm not doing too much editing on this, but I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that was in here. For instance, this one here at the very top, right here in Denver, Colorado, it says objects moving at 3,000 miles per hour reported by a veteran pilot over Denver. He has stuff like this. Now, the only thing that he didn't have as he was getting this information in was actual photos. But he was getting so much in that I guess it was raising some eyebrows and stuff like that. But I have like I said, when my voice gets a little bit better and gets a little bit stronger, I'm going to actually go through thoroughly and tell you guys the whole history of this, how he got started. And then I'll actually go through some of these reports here. But what I will do is I will start taking some pictures of these. And if you're subscribed to me on YouTube, and you actually get all the notifications, what I'll do is I'll start taking pictures and snippets of this, and I'll put it in the community page so that you guys can start reading some of this, because some of this stuff is pretty interesting, of some of the material that is actually talked about here. And I may try to go live with it, because I think that if I go live, that may be a little bit better so that we can actually flip through this. So if you guys want, maybe I'll go live tonight, tonight around 9 or 10 o'clock Eastern Standard, and we can actually go through this book and actually look at some of these articles in here, because I think that this is pretty interesting and fascinating about some of the stuff that, you know, that they're seeing here. Like, for instance, this one here, it says 2 Airbase M reported seeing a large flying saucer object coming out of the east as a tiny dot. And it just goes through stuff like that in here. And I think that this is something that some of you guys may be interested in seeing, because a lot of this stuff that's reported in here is some of the stuff that we're seeing nowadays. I did read one somewhere. Here's one in Spain. Several hundred residents cited 3 round, shiny objects traveling at a tremendous speed. The objects left vapor trails. Now, we've seen particular UFO videos where they've left actually trails and stuff, or chemtrails or stuff like that. So some of this stuff that's reported, and this was in 1952, this is over 50 years ago that they saw this, and we're still seeing some of this stuff today. Here's stuff with the Coast Guard photographing stuff, but this book is actually filled with all kinds of stuff. He's got some of his theories in here, but this is just a summarization of what he did over that year. He's something saucers in the news, but what makes this to me more credible than anything else is that he actually has dates behind it. He didn't put too many people's names, probably to protect them, they probably didn't know. But I think he had it to where people could actually mail him, because remember, this is in the 50s, about this, and he was getting flooded. So he did a good job at a certain point in time, and then he stopped. But like I said, I'll go through that at some point with this. But I think it may be better just to go live with this. So you guys let me know in the comments if you want me to go live with this, because maybe we can look at a couple of things, talk about a few things in here as well. And then if I go live, if you guys want, if I get, I don't know, 20 people that say go live, then I'll go ahead and go live and we can kind of go through this. And what I'll do is I'll do it at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard tonight. And then we can kind of look at some of the stuff in this book too. Because this was actually, like I said, pretty interesting when he started doing the publications for what he was doing back in the 50s. And then he was approached by these men. They actually came into his room. I mean, it was pretty interesting. He said he smelled like burnt sulfur or something like that, which makes me think that what he was visited by, and this is just my opinion, wasn't so much extraterrestrial, but interdimensional beings. And they may be demonic beings. I'm not 100% sure because I got to get some more information about what he actually saw. But if you guys are somewhat into the spiritual aspect, you know about demonic beings and their manifestation and stuff with that. But it kind of coined the term Men in Black too when that came about and all that. But I'll get more in depth with that with this. But it was kind of interesting as I was reading this book because at one point in time he was actually in a movie theater and he saw one of these Men in Black like looking at him, and it was just interesting. He just it's very interesting stuff. And I'll try to find it if we go live tonight, and I'll let you guys kind of see that. And I'll probably end up reading through it just so you guys can see what was being discussed there. And I think he said he looked over to the right again, and the guy disappeared. And then all of a sudden, he was like 5 seats over to his left, and it just freaked him out. And then he left the movie theater, and the guy kind of followed him around. I believe that night is when he was visited by them, and they told him, "Hey, stop doing what you're doing for a certain period of time, and then after this certain period of time, you can continue and talk about what you saw." So it's pretty interesting story here with this, but obviously he was onto something if something came to him and said, "Hey, you need to stop doing what you're doing." But I'm not going to make this too long. I don't want to keep yapping on. But if you guys want me to go live tonight, put it in the comments. If I get enough comments, at least 20 unique viewers saying go live, I'll go ahead and I'll go live, and we will look through some of the reported UFO sightings from this book here. And then we'll talk a little bit more about this. And then we'll just have an open discussion as much as we can about UFOs, and especially about this, because this is actually pretty interesting. Like I said, some of these findings and stuff in here. So anyway, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with your friends. And if you want me to go live, I know I'm beating a dead horse, put it down in the comments, because I'm just going to put the threshold at 20. If we get 20 unique viewers saying go live, we will go live, and we will probably be live for about an hour or so, and we'll look at some of these sightings that they're talking about, and you guys can see some of that. I mean, a lot of this stuff, like I said, is stuff that we see today that we think, oh, that's fake, that's phony. But if they saw this in the 50s and we're seeing it today, there's got to be a common denominator between those two there with this. Like I said, this book is filled with all kinds of articles and stuff, and we can read through a few of these. And maybe if you guys are in particular parts of the world or country, or even in the U.S., we can look at some sightings that maybe happen in your state or in your area to see if there's something similar going on with that. So, but let me know. If not, I'm probably still gonna compose a video and actually do a full review of this and have more imagery and stuff like that, and try to find some of these sightings and some of these people and do a video. And it'll probably be a 3 or 4 part series video that I'll do, but I'll definitely be doing that because I want to back up some of this information that we're seeing here with some facts and stuff around the world, and get some newspaper clippings and stuff as well. So appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully we'll go live, and I'll see you guys tonight.